I'm Rue.
Hi, I'm Janelle, and welcome to episode 6 of Cocktails and Compliance. We are super excited to be here today. We have lots to talk about, but first,
But first, the cocktail.
cheers. What are we drinking? I'm just drinking. You didn't even tell me what it is.
We are drinking the best cocktails of summer so far. Today, it is a Ciroc Vodka Spritz. I am having Citrus Sunset.
I have pineapple passion. It's delicious. by
Y'all,
the way.
these are so good. If you have not tried them before you find yourself poolside for the weekend, get out and get some.
I feel like I've got like pineapple water. This could be dangerous.
I
Okay.
know.
Mm,
Mm.
yummy. Good job as always.
Oh, also, it's been rush week for all of these colleges because
Are we having our own rush? Are we going to be in the same sorority?
Yes. Because I'm a huge TikTok fan. We have to do an outfit of the day because we match. And so on the front of our shirts, it says, properties run better on ResMan. And on the back of our shirts,
We win together.
and we don't just mean that we win together with each other in the company. We mean that we win together with all of our partners in the industry and all of our clients because we all need each other to do better.
That's right. And we win when our clients win.
That's right.
So, okay. My favorite topic.
Y'all missed us, haven't you?
I know it's been a minute.
It's been forever.
We literally have not done this since we did ResMania, which, and guys in studio, I'm sorry you missed it. We had signature cocktails that we rolled out
They were
during the
almost
session.
Stellar Blue.
Yeah, we had ResMan Blue margaritas. They were fantastic.
They were fantastic.
There was a lot of haters in the people in the other sessions.
So maybe you should go ahead and mark your calendars now to join us next May.
You should. And I'm going to, fun fact, talk about that in a
Wait a
little
minute.
bit too.
Shameless ResMan plug
Oh, yay. Cheers, ResMania.
already.
God, that's so good.
I know we're going to need a lot of those.
Yeah. How many did you bring?
I have one more each.
I'll share.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So after we kick off our cocktail, what do we like to talk about?
Oh, 203A.
Hey, guess what, guys? There's no update.
There's no update.
There's no update. I know you're shocked, and we should just, let's, hey, drinking game. God help us when we have an update. We'll probably down the whole thing at once.
Is there anybody even in the office is working on that stuff right now?
Don't
I
make me
even
spit
know.
that across the table.
Sorry.
Yes, there are, because I'm going to talk about some other things that are going on that, yes, they are in the office. And
Just
things are
not
happening.
working on 203A.
No, but fun fact, we did hear that recently HUD got some funding for technology improvements.
Well, we don't know that it'll come to that, but we'll see.
But they're going to improve something, so that'll be good.
Anything that they improve is going to be better.
I'm excited about that. So maybe a little smidge of that will make its way to tracks.
Okay.
So we'll see. Okay. So it has been a hot minute since we've done this.
It has.
We have been a couple of places since ResMania.
Just a few.
Rulapalooza is, you're always on Rulapalooza.
About to
Anyway,
kick off leg 2 for the year.
that's true. It is busy conference season that happens like right after that. So fun fact, Rue and I went from Dallas to San Diego for NAA and had some fun travel challenges in the process. We won't talk about it. I'm trying to forget it.
But if you've been on an airplane lately,
You know what we're
probably
talking
know.
about. You know what we're talking about. And then we're like, oh, yay, we made it back to Dallas. We were home for maybe 15 hours
Yeah.
before we took off then and went to Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Where also, fun fact, we had some travel challenges coming back. It was a little bit of a nightmare. Anyway, the good news is we made it, and Rue made her flight to Hawaii, which was right afterwards.
That makes us bi-coastal, by the way.
Sure. All I know is I didn't know what time it was or what day it was or anything for about 2 weeks. I was like, just point me in the direction I'm supposed to be and tell me where I'm supposed to go. Anyway, so NAA was amazing, and we actually saw way more affordable people than we normally see, which was surprising. So we were like, what are you guys doing here? We see you at the affordable conferences. Hey.
Well, I feel like just in the things that the conversations that I'm having and based on the traffic at our booths at the shows, I feel like tax credits right now is just kind of exploding across the country. It is everywhere, everywhere.
There is a lot going on, but NAA was a great show. But then to turn around and go to DC, and we went to the CAR meeting. You guys have heard us talk about CAR. They do a meeting in January and a meeting in June. So,
For those of you that don't know, that is the Council for Affordable and Rural Housing.
because, acronyms.
Oh, that's right, a drinking game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we went to the CAR conference, and their content is always fantastic.
Yes, it is.
I get so much out of those. So a couple of things that we wanted to talk to you guys about today that we heard during the CAR meeting. And you guys have heard us talk about this before. We've heard people talk about staffing challenges and how am I going to retain my staff? How am I going to hire new staff and attract them? So while those challenges are still in place, we did hear a little bit of a different twist. So you guys are probably aware prices are rising, and part of that is gas prices. And so we have customers now who are talking about having to reimburse their staff for travel back and forth to properties because of the rising gas prices. So that was interesting. And then one of the other things they said is they're also seeing a 20 to 30% salary increase for new recruits, new hires. And they said, we can't always afford that. And yes, you guys have told us to talk about our culture, but great culture won't overcome a 30% salary increase. I mean, it won't.
It
So,
won't.
so one of the things that I thought was interesting that someone mentioned that they said that they're doing that is fairly cost effective. I mean, it's not an extra outlaying of cash. They said, you know what? Take every possible federal holiday that you have. Take a look at your holiday calendar that you have for your company and take every federal holiday. They said, doesn't cost you anything. And bonus, a lot of times you get a 3-day weekend out of that.
And that's a lot of holidays, guys.
It is. And the other thing, and this is actually something that we do occasionally at ResMan, they said when you have those 3-day weekends, bookend it with an extra day off. Give that staff a 4-day weekend. Give them an opportunity to truly recharge and
Yeah.
take away. And I say recharge because we call them ResMan recharge days. We did it for Memorial Day. We're doing it in a couple of weeks for Labor Day.
We did it for July 4th.
4th of July.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you are able to do that, I mean, it is a nice tip. It is something to try. It's not like you're having to pay out extra money. Yes, I know that that's a day that you don't have staff. And even for us, the recharge day is, hey, if you're caught up, take time off. If you need to work a couple hours, work a couple hours, but try to take that day off and recharge. So I thought it was really interesting to hear that and hear that people are doing that in their companies.
Well, I mean, just think about how we think about it ourselves, right? We love that, and we look so forward to our ResMan recharge days because it really does. There's for some reason when you have a 4-day weekend, it just sounds so much better than the 3-day weekend. I can't even explain it. It's only one day, but it feels so much better.
Well, and for someone like me who tends to work on the weekend anyway, I'm like, oh, look, I get a bonus weekend. So it's like I still have 2 days to work and I still have 2 days to be off and relax. So that's why I look forward to it. We have one in 2 weeks, not that I'm counting down or anything. One of the other things that came up at CAR as part of the management committee is they said, we need some sort of 2022 catch-up adjustment for inflation. And everyone talked about how much more they're having to spend just across the board, right? And we've talked about this before, whether it's staffing or it's your materials, whatever the case may be.
Or everything.
And so the following day, they had Nancy Ann Bodell there from USDA who came and spoke. And, before people could even say, hey, Nancy Ann, we need some money, she said, hey, I get it. We recognize there have been rising costs. We're going to reflect this in an add-on to your existing management fees.
Woohoo!
So
Everybody
yay.
have a sip and celebrate.
Cheers for that.
Cheers.
So yummy. Also, one of the things that people talked about is that they have been accruing payables because they haven't had the funds to pay off everything that they needed to, for the variety of reasons. And one of the things she said too is there is funding available in the 2023 budgets to help clear those payables that those properties are accruing. So that will be a massive help for those rural housing properties.
Those poor little guys that don't have hardly any money anyway.
I
That'll be
know. I
fantastic
mean,
news for them.
they've got really tight budgets
Yeah, they
as it
do.
is. And again, another little good piece of good news that she had too is she did acknowledge that the 2022 rents weren't set where they should have been, and those will be accommodated in a 2023 rent increase that will be coming that they will be approving. So, um, really good news.
Yeah, so what it sounds like is that, not to get too overly excited, but this could potentially be a rent increase unlike any other that they've had.
My guess is yes.
Yeah,
It will be
that is so great news
larger
for
than they
them.
had. Well, it is.
And aren't we hearing that from other programs as well?
I would be shocked if we didn't see it,
Yeah.
from other programs. But again, kudos to USDA for going, "Hey, we hear
Absolutely.
you, and we know it's been rough, and we're gonna make some adjustments." So,
So what you're saying is the other programs are just speculating.
well, again, we know how this is, because it's a small world, it's a small industry.
And it never happens until it happens.
Right, and so once one does it, others tend to go, "Oh, we should probably do this too." So we're gonna cross our fingers for you guys,
Yes, we are.
on that. So, um, one of the other things too that, was a little bit different than what we're hearing, we always talk about supply chain issues and things that are going on there, and, we've talked about trying to get appliances, and we've talked about lumber and things like that. So one of the things that we heard that was a little different that impacts new construction and rehabs is the transformer boxes for the power. People are saying, "Hey, we're building these properties. I can't get transformer boxes." I was like, "Well, I didn't see that one coming." Okay. So they can't get that, and kinda connected to that, literally, the utility meters for the buildings. They're like, "We can't get enough utility meters, so
Wow.
we've got this building coming, and I need to claim my credits because I need to get people in there, and I
Wow.
have no way
I
of
can't.
monitoring the utilities." And they're like,
Or even
what the"
giving them
Right.
utilities.
Yeah, there's no power to the buildings and no way to bill people for it. So, um, it was kinda crazy because that clock ticks when you're doing
Well,
new
yeah.
construction for tax credits and you gotta hurry up and lease it up, and, that was kinda crazy. I was like, "Well, that's a new one. We'll add that to the
Well,
list
so
of
did
things."
you when you were talking about that, because I was not in the session, I was sitting at our booth. Janelle often gets to go to all the sessions. Are you hearing any kind of conversation on how they're trying to overcome? I mean, because that's a pretty significant supply chain issue.
No, because to be honest, at that point when I heard it, there were cocktails, and so we were just like, "Oh, that sucks," and everybody took another drink. So,
As they should.
yeah, I was just straight up honesty right there. Okay.
Because everybody's like, "We're not gonna have an answer, we might as well have a drink."
Kinda.
Yeah,
I mean, it's what you could do in the moment.
yeah,
I'm just saying.
sure.
All right. Took one for the team, while we was at the booth. Anyway, so one of the other things that was interesting that they talked about, um, was the insider's perspective on in DC, and knowing that midterm elections are coming up. There's been a lot of conversation about, well, what's going to happen, and they were talking about when people were in their offices, when they had a recess, they were back for a hot minute, then they had another recess, and then they were going to be back in their home offices campaigning. And basically, there was a lot of speculation about what will or won't get done. And so they kind of broke it into this is what has to happen, this is what might happen, and this doesn't have a snowball's chance of happening before an election. So Rue and I actually covered that in a webinar that we did in July, right after we came back. And it is interesting to me. Um, some things like Tracks 203, we've been talking about for a long time. We don't have updates. And literally, we were in a webinar and people were sending us messages going, "Hey, this just happened today." We're like, "It's great.
That's right.
Fantastic." So shout out to the assist from a couple of people that helped us on the webinar. But so rather than going over the what people talked about in July, what's interesting is the what was in one of the things that was in the maybe column was Build Back Better, which
Bingo.
you might have noticed just came back in a different way in the Inflation Reduction Act. So that was recently passed. I was actually on a board meeting with NAMA yesterday where we were talking about it because this is pretty fresh. It happened this week. So we were talking about it. It is $773 billion in legislation. A lot of it is focused on climate control. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of tax credits. There's been a lot of conversation about the IRS and all of that. But one of the things, so think about that 773, 1 billion of that is designated for housing. So, okay, at least there's some money.
I mean, $1 billion's not nothing.
I take it.
I'd take
I
it.
mean, I'm just saying. But there's $1 billion for HUD, and so this will impact project-based rental assistance. It'll impact 811s. It'll impact 236. So we were on this call yesterday, which was Thursday. So Wednesday, this is why I know HUD is in the office. HUD was having meetings on Wednesday about how do we roll out this money? How do we distribute it? It'll probably come in the form of grants and loans, and so there will likely be an application process. Um, but there's more to come. I know NAMA in particular said that they will be releasing a NAMA analysis next week that breaks down what happens with that billion, some other things related to tax credits and energy and things like that. So, if you are a member of a national or even a local or regional association, I would say keep your eye on your inbox. That you should probably be hearing something as everyone is scrambling to put together materials to disseminate that information to their membership so that they know what to expect.
Talking about your inbox makes me think of something else too. And
It makes me think a lot of things when I think about my inbox. It's kind of gross.
I think she's got, I don't know, 30,000 unread emails or something.
It's not that bad.
Her computer just blows up every week.
It's
Um,
close.
no, what I was going to say is one of the things about being a part of organizations like NAMA and CAR, um, we get emails that talk about grassroots efforts. And when they talk about grassroots efforts, they always recommend you reaching out to your congressperson and having a conversation with them. But they also give you tips on how to reach out to them, how to compose an email saying the right things. And when I say saying the right things, these are about issues that are very important to all of the affordable housing programs. And so, it's not just trade shows and it's not just conferences, it's things like that. And they are always, both of those organizations are very good
hmm
about giving us things that, like we're trying to start a grassroots, and it starts really with you reaching out to your congressperson. So,
It does. And case in point, it's the well, what do I say? How do I get their attention? We just talked about it's 1 billion in housing out of $773 billion
right,
in a new piece of legislation. And so if you think about your representatives, your senators that have so many competing interests and so many people up there lobbying and saying, well, my constituency needs this and I need this and I need that. And again, one of the things we talked about too with midterm elections coming up is um, there are people who are not running for reelection. And so we will have new senators and
right.
new Congress people. So that education process starts over. And so you've got to go and educate them about why it's important, how it impacts the people in their districts or the areas that they represent. So she's absolutely right. So, and I know we'll be talking about this in October in NAMA as we get close to midterm
And there's
elections.
a chance we may get to go to the Hill this year too. It
Man,
just
I hope so.
depends because it's been kind of closed down for a little while due to COVID. But quite honestly, the best place to reach your representatives is when they're in their own districts. It's
Absolutely.
it's much easier to get to them when they're in their home offices.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, like I said a minute ago, they're going to be in their home office, and I would need to go back and look at my notes. September, October, somewhere in there, where they're
Right.
campaigning. So it is a very good time to reach out and schedule some time and talk to them. But as Rue said, the different organizations can help you with preparing that. You need to come prepared. You need to be able to give them facts. You need to be able to talk about what you personally are experiencing within your company and within your property and how that impacts your residents. So,
Well, and the good news is if you're very factually prepared, then the person in line behind you that's coming to talk about housing is gonna essentially talk about the same thing. So they should start hearing things that resonate over and over and over.
yeah, yeah. Okay. While we're talking about HUD, I have a couple of other things that are going on that we want to mention.
Oh, do tell.
So, there was a new risk-based MOR schedule that was
Oh,
introduced at the end of June to try to reduce the overall number of MORs. And I know for those of you who have several properties and you're trying to deal with all the schedules and who needs to be at what property where, and preparing your files and all the goodness that goes into that, reducing the number of reviews is a good thing.
Yes,
across
it
the board.
is.
So this was a new final rule that came out. It is effective September 26th.
Final rule.
Yay. Yay for final rules.
They're doing something.
I know, right? So it's effective on September 26th, which is really right around the corner. So this change to the frequency of the MORs begins with the first MOR that is going to be conducted on or after September 26th. So there are new risk classifications that HUD assigned to properties, and it's based on several things. Your previous MOR scores, your REACT scores, your vacancy rate, things like that. And it's all detailed out in the final rule. But the risk classifications now are not troubled, which is where you all want to be, potentially troubled, or troubled.
If you're troubled, you might expect a visit.
You should expect a visit and then some. So basically, the potentially troubled and the troubled stay on that annual review, right? But then if you are not troubled, your frequency of reviews depends on your MOR score that gets conducted, your first one on September 26th or later. So if you get an unsatisfactory, you will have another visit in 12 months.
Oh.
If you get a below average, you too will have another visit within 12 months.
So if you just like to have them at your property because you enjoy their company,
they'd be happy to come see you.
Yeah.
If you get a satisfactory, your next MOR happens within 24 months. So, yay for that.
Yay for that.
If you get an above average or superior, you get your next one in 36 months.
Whoa, see? So everybody should aspire to be above average or superior. And let's just put those dudes out of business.
Well, I don't even know what to say that. But yes, yeah, you get a 3-year pass between MORs if you get an above average or superior. And look, we know the clients that we work with, they're doing the right things. They take good care of their properties. So by all means, let's get you guys a break. Let's get in that 24-month or 34 or 36-month cycle.
I just feel like they're going to really be super nitpicky though now because they're going to take that time between them. So good luck to you guys.
Maybe
good luck.
What I will say is, and we saw this during COVID, don't get lax in those 3 years because you want to make sure that when you have it,
you don't want to see them again.
You don't want to see them again for another 3 years. So stay on top of your file, stay on top of all the things that you're supposed to do for your MOR, and make sure you hit that above average or superior again. I will say that there is a different schedule. So if a new owner takes over a property, it doesn't matter what your last MOR score was, you're getting a visit within 6 months of your ownership change.
Well, that's fair though.
It is fair. Totally agree. They want to make sure that new owners doing all the right things. So totally agree with that. But that is some good news to know that people
That's
can
some
go
really big
2
news
or 3 years.
that everybody maybe can take a deep breath. And,
let's reward those people that are crushing it. So cheers to them.
Cheers to them.
Yay. Okay. You want to know the really, really big thing going on at HUD?
What?
Think back to, because you guys have heard us say that we've worked together a few times. So think back to that third time we worked together at that company where we were like, what's going to happen with the award of the PBCA contracts? Is this going to happen? Is it going to happen? Are we going to rebid? Is it going to fall apart? What's going to happen? You remember?
Oh my God, y'all. This is really funny because when she starts talking about that is like all the way back to 2011.
Right. Yeah. And we could spend a whole session just talking about
10 years.
Yeah. We could spend a whole session talking about that.
11 years. I can't even add.
Well, you don't have to do math. That's fine. We established that the other day, right?
Right.
Yeah. She's no good at math, but she's fine. So,
let's not forget cute.
And you're cute. Now I can't even read my notes because you're throwing me off. All right. So on July 27th, and by the way, this was the breaking news that, we got in the middle of our live webinar. A draft procurement came out from HUD for the rebid of the PBCA contracts on July 27th. So it is out for comment. You only have a tiny window to get it done. I'm not going to do the math. Oh, I can't do the math. It's 10 days.
Whoa.
So you have 10 more days to get your comments in. So I read it. It's 148 pages.
Oh, man. I wish I'd have read it.
I could give you the highlights. In fact, I'm going to give all of you the highlights. We're not going to call it the PBCA program anymore because clearly we're due for a new acronym.
Yes.
Yeah. So it is now called HAPS. I say because it's two S's. HAPS. Which stands for, because I know you're dying to know.
Housing Assistance Program.
I'm waiting for it to cheat off my paper.
So no, I'm not. I can't see that far.
It's Housing Assistance Payments Contract Support Services.
But was there a C in there?
No, they left the C out of the acronym. I guess they couldn't say. I don't even know how I don't even know how I'd pronounce it. HAPS was easier, I guess. I don't know. So, you want to know what's really crazy about this? I mean, besides the fact that we decided to rename it, maybe that erases the stigma of the past rebid.
Besides the fact that these people don't know if they've got permanent jobs for the last 11 years?
Sure. We split the country into regions.
I heard that.
So, where you think of right now, there are, including the old ACC contracts, I want to say it is, I think there's 54 of them in effect now. So now the country is split into 5 regions, and within each region, there are 3 sub-regions. So there's 15 awards that are going to happen. So we just went from 54, 15. So the regions are the Northeast, the Southeast, the Midwest, the Southwest, and the West. And I could tell you how all those 3 sub-regions break out and all that goodness, but it's in that 148-page document, and frankly, I didn't memorize that part. So the contracts, there will be a base period and then up to 4 option periods.
How long is the base period?
Yeah, they didn't say. So let's just pretend it's a year. So just figure it's a year and 4 renewals after that. But here's the thing that's going to be interesting, because you and I know from all the time that we've spent with the performance-based contract administrators, some of them like to operate in multiple states. Right?
Yeah.
So here's the thing that's going to be interesting. You can be awarded up to a max of 2 regions. So you can't take over the world. You can only take over 2 regions. And then within the sub-regions, you can only be awarded a max of 2 sub-regions within the same region.
So whoever gets region, and then you've got your sub-regions, so there's always going to be at least one other person in your region working with you.
Yep.
So there's going to be leaders of the regions, and then there'll be sub-leaders.
It's going to be, I feel like I need a map and colored pencils. But yes.
Well, we really wish all of our PBCA friends out there who are going to submit bids on this, we wish you a lot of luck. We've got a lot of great friends and connections in the industry, and we've really enjoyed working with so many of you out there. So we wish you all good luck.
Yeah. So again, it's out for comment. But what's interesting is, and the reason we were mentioning it on the webinar, is that Bob Iver from HUD was there, and he said, we want to get this awarded by the end of this fiscal year, which is, going to happen September 30th. And I'm like, okay.
They ain't going to make that.
So anyway, like I said, it's out for comment. They have to, take in the comments and all of that. So we'll see what happens. But when in fact it does happen, what they have proposed is a 120-day transition period from the existing PBCA to the new apps. They did say, in looking at the awards, preference will be given to the existing contractors in that region. It's not guaranteed, but that is their preference.
Well, that's interesting because there's 54 of them.
Right.
Or something like that.
Right. And, this may be a time when they go, I don't want to play anymore. And so, we may see states and regions and whatever that are up for grabs.
We may. And quite frankly, since this has been going on for 11 years now, I kind of wouldn't blame them. But
yeah. So, and then I can't remember, I want to say I got towards about the tail end of this. And then I saw like this little fine print that just said, oh, also, we can increase or decrease the geographic service area during this option period to reward high performance. So I'm going to go back to that whole max of 2 regions, max of 2 subregions. Yeah, maybe is what I took away from that. Like, we'll see. If someone's not performing, they have the option to take it away and give it to someone who is, which I frankly, I understand it. But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I'm gonna hold my thoughts on that because
Do you need to take a drink? Do you need a minute?
I just I get that they need to monitor it, but no, I'm just not gonna say anything else.
Okay. All right.
Again, we wish all of our friends out there who are going to be participating in this rebid process, we wish you well.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. With that, all my legislative and regulatory updates that I have to share. But you and I got some really good news the other day. You sent me an email about one of our newer products that we have because it is budget season. We're coming up on budget season,
Ooh.
and we have a beautiful new product. I say new, we released it last year. Budgets Pro.
This is the first budget season, though, that people are able to take advantage of it.
Outside of our beta customers
Right.
who did use it last
Yes.
year. But now we have customers who, because they had been waiting for this for so long, they have adopted this program. They're using it. And so we actually got a quote from a regional district manager for one of our clients who has about 9,000 units. And I'm going to read it so I don't mess it up because it was really good
It's
stuff.
pretty good stuff.
It's good stuff. It said, Budgets Pro has helped our company be more efficient and thorough in our process, all the while providing time efficiency and real-time data for accuracy. But here's the goodness. We saved
ROI.
$38,000 in budget camps and 2 hours per property using Budgets Pro. With 87 properties, this is 1,392 hours saved in budget prep.
That's amazing.
That is
That's
phenomenal.
so fantastic.
And I will tell you, being a product person, that's the stuff that makes you go, man, we worked really, really hard on that. And I can't even tell you how many hours this team put in working on this. We had a team of product people and developers who were dedicated to this for months. Like they ate, sleep, and breathed. I probably didn't get that right. That's all they did was eat, sleep, and breathe it. That sounds better.
Well, and they interviewed tons of our users.
They did.
Tons of clients.
They did. And we had a UX designer that was involved the entire time as well. It is a phenomenal product. And to get this kind of feedback makes it all worth it.
I agree.
Yeah. So that was fantastic. I'm ridiculously excited
Shameless
about that.
ResMan plug.
Yeah.
Also, if you guys want to take a look at it, hit us up. Maybe that would help you overcome some of your
Yeah, I
other,
mean, look, nobody likes budgets, and we have seen some crazy Excel spreadsheets while we were building that. So, this tool's phenomenal, and anytime you can get some savings in there, and yeah, fantastic.
I mean, that's a lot of hours. That's
a ton
more
of
than
time.
one
I mean,
person.
think about all the things.
That's more than one person works in a year, isn't it?
Well, again, let's go back to the whole math is not your specialty. That is about half of a person for a year. But anyway, that was a really nice try.
Part time.
That was cute. Anyway, yeah. But think about all those hours and all that time that they can spend with their residents.
That's really
instead.
amazing.
So that's fantastic. So, all right. We talked a minute ago too about Rulapalooza, which she's about to kick off the second leg of that, which is awesome. And so, where can people find us next?
Well, it just so happens that Janelle and I both will be leaving on Sunday evening to go to the Sama Leadership Conference. So we'll be in Savannah Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. We're looking forward to seeing all of our friends over there. That's always a really great conference.
And then I'm looking at this going, Rue's practically gone for all of September.
I mean,
it feels like it.
That's just how it goes.
I know. It's busy.
Also, because I'm going to Sama, I had to sell my Motley Crue concert tickets last week for the Motley Crue concert. So I know most people don't care about that, but I've had tickets for 3 years.
She debated over it for a long time and looked at flights and all kinds of stuff, trying to make it work.
Honestly,
She's very sad.
I didn't want to take a 5 a.m. flight. So
Nobody wants to take a 5 a.m. flight. And what are the odds it's going to leave anyway? That's another story.
Work wins.
Okay. Work does win.
Work wins. And then next, I will be in Denver, September the 13th through the 15th for Rocky AMA. I'm really excited to see all of my friends there. It's been a minute since I've been to that conference, so I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there. And then I will be headed to Hollywood, Florida, September the 28th. And I will be down there for FAA. And that, you were talking about how NAA has a lot of affordable people. FAA has a really
Mhm.
big affordable housing attendance. And so I'm really looking forward to being back out there with the affordable sessions and affordable groups and being in the booth and getting to see everybody there. And then in October, Janelle and I both will be at NAMA. And then NAMA's Educational Foundation, their scholarship gala is going to be the last evening of NAMA, and that's first off really near and dear to me. I think it's always great when um, underprivileged children have the opportunity, or even an underprivileged adult has the opportunity to have scholarships, and so that I feel like everybody should be able to have a college education if they want one. And I actually sit on the foundation board, and it just so happens that two things: we're currently looking for sponsors for the gala, and we're also looking for donations for scholarships. And so, if you should choose to make a little donation to help out somebody who wants to go to college, you can do that online at NAHMA, NAHMA, edu.givesmart.com. That's NAMA, edu.givesmart.com. And if you want any more information on it, feel free to reach out to me. I will tell you that there are many, many great stories and many needs. So,
And that's one of the things I love about the October meeting too, is we almost always have a previous scholarship winner
Oh.
who comes and tells their story. And
yes.
I mean, there's usually not a dry eye in the place. I mean, it is some phenomenal stories to hear, there's what they've been through and what they've overcome and what they're doing and how they use that money and how it's benefited them. And it's literally changed their lives. So it's always inspiring to hear that. It's a wonderful event. I'm excited about it. Can't wait to be there.
Well, and if any of you know me, y'all all know that I'm not shy in asking for money anyway, but it's always great to ask for money when it is something that makes somebody's life better.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And finally, because I think that rounds out. No, we may have one more.
we got one
We
more.
got one more.
We got
You
one
you have
more.
one more in November. There's Mid-Atlantic.
Wait.
Wait.
Ooh, we got two
What?
more because
Two
we
more?
got Florida Car.
Oh yeah, when is that?
That is October 19th-ish. I can't remember the exact date on that.
Yeah, I forgot that one. And
Yeah.
then November.
And we're really excited to see the car folks in Florida. That's always a great conference as well. And then in November, I will be in Richmond for Mid-Atlantic AMA. So
Yeah. So that finishes out the year. But the other
if
thing,
any of y'all want to see me
because who wouldn't want to?
outside of any of those, just reach out. I'll be happy to come and see you and show you what we've got.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We just recently went down to Houston together to go visit someone and show them our product, and it was fun and a very successful trip, I might add.
So
So
we rode a bus.
And that's a whole nother story because of our flight ordeals. We took a luxury bus to Houston, and it was fabulous. So you can hit us up if you want some more information on that, because it sounds like, ooh, you took the bus. This bus was amazing.
Yeah, and this bus is only in Texas, but if y'all want information on it, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
We'll hook y'all up.
Yeah. And then the other exciting thing that we have
You're
to
gonna
announce.
do it.
I am going to do it.
I
am. I got permission too, which is unusual, but because usually I just say it and then it's like, well, it's out there. So we did talk about ResMania. So ResMania is happening again in May. We are going to be back in Plano at the Renaissance Hotel. So we're excited. We've taken over the entire hotel this time. We're not sharing. We took over everything because we expect some phenomenal growth. But the early bird registration opens September 1st. So check your inbox for that. Sort through your 30,000 other unread emails that you have and make sure you look for that one because you're not going to want to miss out. And I think it's only open, the early bird is open, I think, until November. But check that out. It'll be on our website. We'll be promoting it on social media as well. So we're excited. We have already started planning. We've been having weekly planning meetings.
Well, and hey, I'll throw this out there too. If there is topics that you feel like you would like to see us cover in the affordable sessions,
well, fun fact, Rue, if you go to the website when you get your link for
how
your early
about
bird
that?
registration, there is a call for presentation. So if there is something that you would like to see,
Ooh.
affordable or otherwise, by all means, give us that information. We are actively working on content. We have expanded the length of the conference because there was so much request for content. So we've added an extra day to the conference.
That's fantastic.
Which means we added an extra fun event. So,
No.
right? So you're not going to want to miss that. So again, watch for that early bird registration, and we are excited to see you there. Beyond that, as Rue said, if you've got anything for us or you want to see where we're going to be, we post all of that information on LinkedIn and Facebook. So please follow us on LinkedIn. We'd love to connect with you and hear from you guys. And with that, given that we have so many other things coming up, I have no doubt we'll be filming another podcast.
Oh yeah, we will because we're getting ready to go to a bunch of conferences and
absolutely.
Some of the conferences will happen post-election. So
Some of
that'll
them
always
will.
be interesting.
Some of them will. And again, we love doing this. As we get information, we want to make sure that we're sharing that with all of you because we know that it's hard to keep up with that and it comes at you from all different angles. So we're here to do our part and share what we know with you guys. So with that, hopefully we will see you in one of these wonderful locations coming soon. Or worst case scenario, we'll see you at ResMania. Thank you all.
Thanks. Have a great weekend.
Cheers.
Cheers.